dividing by 2 and dividing by 3.
Why not 2 again?
No, but you divide by 2, you have 6 possible odd multiples of 2. No, not odd. You have 6 odd numbers underneath as well. So 1, 3, 5, 7, 9.
11.
11, yeah. And then you divide 12 by 2 and count how many are falling off because of the 3. Because you see that it is divisible by 3. So that the 3 is falling off, and because you already divided by 2, it is double falling off, so you do that times 2. Because the 9 is also falling off. You see, yeah, I get it. I get some. Say, take a difficult one. 2, 3, 5. What is that? 6, 30. 30. Try 30. You have 29 candidates. You do, for the 2, you divide the 29 by 2, and there are...
So 30 by 2?
No, 29.
Okay. That's 14.5.
So 14 are falling off.
So then 14 falling... what do you mean falling off? Falling off
dropping off as reducible.
Right, so which means remaining are 15, which are...
are 15.
Yeah, 15.
So
1, 3, like 5, 7.
Remaining, yeah. So say put a line to the 2, from the 2 to the...
wait, okay, well these are guaranteed, but for the case where we're talking about the 15 now, so D equals 15.
No, wait, do the intermediates. 2, so the 14 falling off, 14, and there's 15 left. And then you have to get 50. And for the 15, and 15 you already have seen, because you're going up.
50.
I'm not quite sure how to put this in an algorithm.
No, we didn't see them. Now we check for 3.
No, we have, if you go up 15 you already have seen. How many divisors has, how many non-common denominators has?
You want me to, so do you want to store the multiples?
Yeah.
Okay, so we start at 2 and we then iterate through the primes, and we do 2 times 2, 2 times 3, 2 times 5. And we would therefore deal with D equals 15 in the case of 3 and 5.
No. First you have, of course, you go all numbers until million.
Okay.
You're now at 30. At 30, you see, this is divisible by 2.
You take 50. Remaining.
So remaining is
50.
You take 50.
And then we divide by 3.
Yeah, but that should not be necessary, because 15 you already have done. If you look up at what the answer was at 15, and is there a relation between the 15s and the 30s?
Yeah, let's do the 15. If we were at 15, what should we do? We have 3 and 5, and then what do? We divide 15 by 3.
How do you deal with 15? 2 is not divisible, 3 is divisible.
Yeah.
All of this is, can't we produce,
So
rather than iterating through everything, can't we produce the solution?
So there is 1 to 14. That means 4 are falling off, the multiples of 3.
Multiples of 3?
3, 6, 9.
Yeah. In the, from, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Up to 50.
Up to 40.
Okay.
4 are falling off. That means you're left with
11.
11. But now
Then
you need
five.
to check the next prime. 5.
2 are falling off. 5 at 10.
Why? Because 5, 11 mod 5 is 2.
Mod 5 is 1. You mean div?
Yeah, div.
Yeah, 11, yeah, div 5 is 2.
So there are 2 more falling off. Which ones? Yeah, of course, 5 and 10.
So we have remaining 9 candidates. For 30, it's 9.
50.
For 30,
wait, yeah. Wait, this is 15 divisors of 30.
Yeah.
No, 15 left in the series of 30. And I thought you can now look up. Yeah, that's a coincidence that the 2 remains 15. That is, we should not handle the 2's because that's too confusing.
Why?
Because the 15 is also half of the 30, and I did not mean that. I mean with 3 you get 4 dropping off. So for the 15 itself there are 6 dropping off. That's anyway true. So for 15 there are 6 dropping off, and the outcome is 9.
Why not 5? Why 6?
For the 3 there are 4 falling off, and for the 2, for the 5 there are, for number 15, so this one, there is a 9 left.
How?
Because
Also 15 is considered one of the multipliers of 3.
yeah.
Why not 3, 6, 9, 12 and 15?
No, I mean for the number 15, if you're in this range, you're trying to determine the number of fractions that is not reducible.
Yeah.
There are reducible because there is a 3 in the 15, there are 4 dropping off, and because there is a 5 in the 15, there are 2 dropping off.
Yeah, so 6 are dropping off.
So 6 are dropping off, 9 are left. 14 minus 6, 8 are left. 8 should be 8. And now if you have 8, so the 15 has 8, and now you get to the 30. Is there a way to determine from this 8?
So for 30 it would be 29. 20 of 9 of those 29, at least 8 are gone, because those are already counted in the 15.
So 16 are falling off. No, 6 are
8
falling off.
8 are falling. Well, okay.
For 15,
All
6,
of- yeah.
6 are dropping off.
All of the ones that dropped off here all drop.
Drop off.
Yeah,
6.
those drop off, and also the 8 drop off.
And times 2 because the multiples of the 2 times 6.
No.
That's all. That's all. These
No,
6 that drop off and times 2. That's all.
Well, based purely on this, I would say that this should be 15. Because the 8 drop, so 29 minus 8 and minus 6. I'm not sure why you do 2 times 2.
I think because there is 6 drop off from 15 and 30 is the double of 15, so
Yeah.
there is multiple of.
So this is 12 off, remaining are Because this is a clear double, that means 6 are here dropping off, 12 are here dropping off. That is 12 are here dropping off from the 29, that means there should be 17 left.
Okay. And likewise for 45, it would be 18 to drop off, yeah. Okay. But still also the 8 also still drop off because
the 8 remaining was it from the 50.
Ah, it would be double counting, right? Okay. Wait, so these drop off also, so that's 12 drop off because of this and 16 drop off because of this.
This no drop off is remaining.
Right, but that's remaining for 15.
Yeah. Remaining for 15.
And remaining for 15 implies dropping off for 30, does it not?
No. No, totally not. The remaining for 15 are 1, 2.
So here, for 30, this would
be 2.
Why
did 2 not fall off? Oh no, 2 is for 15, 4, 7, 8, 11, 13, and 14.
Right, but does this correspond to 2 for the 30?
5, 6, 7.
Right, this is 1 over 15, which corresponds to 2 over 30, and 4 over 30, and 8 over 30. So exact same number of these all drop off from 30 because they are reducible to the case of 15.
Right.
But
now for 30, what is, if you say there are 6 dropping off, these 6 are dropping off anyway.
right.
And I thought if you have 30, it's divisible by 2.
Yes.
So actually 14 are anyway dropping off. Or multiples of 2.
Well, okay, but you have to be careful not to double count.
Yeah, also
So
should
these
remove
are
those.
dropping off because of 3, 5, 6, 9, 10, 12. So for 3 or 4, and now for the 30.
No. For example, 13 is not a dropping off.
13?
Yeah, 13 and 11 or 7 shouldn't drop off from that. Because,
Right. At least number of, so if denominator prime implies d minus 1, fertig. For the others, at least number of primes up until d, so that's the minimum number, right? Because you can't obviously in the numerator make that smaller.
For 30, that is worse. So they're all dropping off.
no, 13 is
15.
not.
15 is half, that is anyway dropping off. And then there is 16.
Yeah, dropping off.
17.
No.
I'll count on 16, 17, 18, 19 should stay. 20, 21, 22.
We do a
It's
set
not
of
known yet. 23 is not known
1
yet.
over 3 or 2 over 6. Should it stay in Python or there is a problem with floating point?
Well, we can. No, there's no problem there.
9.
I mean, if we do it to, if we use floating point, then that might be a problem, but we don't have to use floating point.
Why is it these numbers? exactly half of them. Is it always? But in this list that's left and left over. Exactly half are divisible by 2. So remaining is the 1, the 7, the 11, 13, 17,
Primes.
No, not even only prime. Yeah, of course.
Only primes.
Well,
Now that's coincidence because 30
Yeah,
is
it can-
divisible
it
by
can-
all these primes, but 7, multiple of 7 is 7 itself is not dropping off.
Yeah.
But for the rest, 30 is 2 times 15. 30 had 8 left. And
I think we should check
1,
with
2,
the
3,
divider.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 15 also has 8 left.
we should check
We
for
should check prime factors and we start counting from that the number of primes.
Yeah, but is it true that 30 is a multiple of 15 and it has exactly the same numbers left?
As 15?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what we said when we have the example of 7 and 14. I said 14 will have the same numbers as 7, which is 7 minus 1. Because,
Yeah, of course.
because, for example, also 21 will also have the same because it's 7 times 3. So we will remove all 3 divisors and that's it. Yeah, but
then maybe just a brain fart. So this is the number line, and this is 1/2. So, however, I think this is symmetrical.
Yeah, that was here also. The
So-
1, 2, 4, 7 is the same list as 14, 13, 11, 8.
So the result is, okay, let's call this A for a year, or let's call this, the result is A times 2. And B is then in thirds and in fifths. So A is B times 1.5. B is C times something. Can we somehow build this down based on the primes? You know what I mean? Or just going down here, because this is somehow we only have to count this 3 times, and this 5 times, and this 7 times.
yeah, but for example, for 1 for 1, for example, this, if it's 4, I think we should
No, I think
3.
different approach. I think a different approach. For all the primes, you know. And for all
The primes are all down here.
the primes are, and then you go up to a number that is not prime. and you find say the 15 again. And you already have done the 3. The 3 has 2 left. And the 5 has 4.
You're thinking in specifics of the numbers that you're looking at. And
I want to.
Somehow in my mind, I think this should basically fall out of just iterating through the primes.
Yeah, actually, if you have the 7, you have 6 possibilities. But then you can fill in the 14 also has 6, and the 21 should also have.
I think as the
only 6
denominator,
left.
as a denominator, we should consider all numbers. Like, for example, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah. So also 1/4.
Yeah.
Okay. And not, this is not somehow implied by looking at 2?
Yes. It's I mean, the problem is when the denominator is not prime. That's where we have to find this, because if the denominator is prime, so it's what we are just summing prime minus 1.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
so
mean,
assume we're iterating through, okay, so we're looking at the case of denominator is somehow divisible by 2.
Mhm.
Then we go through the primes again. So we're looking at 1/2, and first prime is 2, so we get to 1/4. Second prime is 3, we get to 1/6. As long, I mean, we can throw things out multiple times, as long as we only count the cases that are actually irreducible. Then it doesn't matter if we throw the same thing out. Let's say in the case of 5, then we would also be iterating through 2, 3. So we look at 2/10 or something like that twice.
Yeah, I
But
think
maybe it's okay.
if we go like from 0 to 1 million, if the number is prime, we have like a global variable with sum equal that number minus 1. Otherwise, we sum the prime number that are less than that number. For example, 4, we have 2 and 3, we sum them. And we go 5, it's prime, so we put 4, 6. We have 2, because we have 2 and 3, shouldn't count that.
I think there's a recursive solution. So we start with some denominator, and initially we start always with 1/a prime, and we're iterating through the primes. And based on that, we then find the multiples up until our limit, using the prime list again. Something like that. Yeah, so, right, the unique common factors, okay, so we're going to get A, which is this, which are all the unique, the irreducible things which have a multiple. So this number is all of the numbers here which have 2 as a factor that are irreducible. And that is 1 plus 1/4 plus 1/4 times 2 plus 1/6 and 3/6, also not, no, 7, 8 is the next one, I guess. So 1/8 and 3/8, and that's it, times 2, plus 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 plus, all the multiples where the denominator is less than limit. And that's then only counted once, is it? No, it won't be counted only once, I think.
Okay, can you repeat again?
So we're looking at the case 1/2, and so we want to see how many are in here, how many irreducibles are there in here. That is 1/2 itself. Then we go with the multiple 2, so that's with denominator 4. Pardon me. Denominator 4. And that's only 1/4. 2/4 is reducible. And we don't even have to look any further, because we know it's just, there's a corresponding thing on the other side. So we take this number times this. So the thing we're working off of. And if we were looking at 1/3, we would take it times 3 because of this. Right? We only have to look at. Okay? So now we're looking at times 3. So base denominator 6. That's 1/6. And we only have to, well, we would look at, so I want to be working with only the 2, I think. Maybe it's also with this. I guess we only have to look up until the prime. Maybe that's okay. So 1/6 is the only one. Let's count here 2 times, also 2 times, and 5/6 just to complete the picture. And 3/4. And okay, I think 7 is a okay. Here we are then with times 5. We're only looking at the primes, I think. So here we're at 10 over 10, 2/10, 3/10, 3/10 is, I believe. 4/10, 5/10 is, I guess, the stop. So here's 4.
Mark 7 or 9.
Well, they are, but this thing implies that thing. Right, this is, they always match up, they're always pairs. I don't know, does this lead anywhere? I have a feeling it must. So what about the 8s? The 8s are also, this is where the recursion bit comes in, I believe. I think for the 1/4 case, or at least for the denominator 4 case, we would also have to recurse, and
Because it will be used for,
yeah,
not only for 2 but for.
yeah. So here we would go down to, so here we would recurse again using 1/4 as the base, or maybe 2/4. I'm not sure. So I think this is the top. I think of this as, I think, the top. How far, the limit of how far you should go. I'm not sure. And then we just go over the primes again. So 4 times 2 equals 8 But it's times 2 only, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not sure. Maybe we have to carry this through, or maybe we just pull up to the top level. Maybe the top level is treated differently somehow. Then and this is the recursion here is different level.
Yeah.
There is also dependence for like double counting or something. Not sure.
Well, as long as we only count the non-reducible ones, we can't double count. So the question is non-reducibility. If it's a prime, it's non-reducible.
Yeah.
Have we always been dealing with primes so far? So far we have. So always this thing has been a prime. Is there any case where there's no case where either one of those is always a prime, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Obviously, must be. Otherwise, it's reducible using that prime.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. This is very. I think this.
And how do you? So the 8 has 2 times as many candidates as the 4. Because the 4 already has all 2's divided out.
In this case,
So
yes.
the 8 has the same. So the 8 has 2 times as many candidates as 4.
Ah, yeah. Yeah. Right. So this is carried over here.
So we have difference between the numbers that have, say for example 235 is 30. There is 1/3 dropping off because of multiple of 3, 1/5 dropping off because of multiple of 5, and there's half dropping off because of multiples of 2.
But can we think about this always in terms of the primes? I mean, because we don't even have to look at things where, if we're looking at the multiples, if we're looking at 30, we only ever have to look at the prime numerator cases, right? We only ever have to look at 1, 3, we only have to ever look at 1, 2, 3, 5, 7.
Yeah.
That's the numerator. But what do you think about this, John?
Yeah, but I don't see how you get up. The thing is, the nice thing is that you find out that if a prime exists multiple times in the number, it does not count further off. It just multiplies. So if there is if you do 30 times 30, we got 8 candidates. If you do 30 times 5, you really get 8 times 5 candidates. So 150 should have 40 candidates. Because all 5s already have dropped off. So you do 30 times 5, 150 has indeed 5 times this series. Because nothing else is dropping off.
Should we drop them off or counting them? You said, for example, 3 times 5.
Yeah, you have to
eliminate them from count.
So you can reduce every number if there is a prime happening, if a prime occurring more than one time. You can take the result that you had in the one that had this prime only one time, and then do the result times 2.
Sorry, I didn't hear it. I'm not sure if you want to repeat because I'm. just one little insight. We don't look for, if we're looking at 1 over 3, we don't have to look at the multiplier 2. We only have to look at 5 going up, because we've already looked at the case where, all the cases where 2 is a factor. So I think this turns this thing into log n, O of log n, because we're only looking at this. No, we're not. We're always looking at this stuff also. But I don't think it's too bad.
Log
And-
of n.
And also, this requires only as much memory as we need to go deep in the stack. We don't need to keep any, or we need to create the primes around, I guess. But other than that, we don't have to do any kind of lookup, right? We only have to go for each thing here, go through the primes, which up until this limit here. So actually it's just counting. Yeah, it's just counting the number of primes less than 4 in this case. And taking it times 2. I think this should work. I would like to try this unless, John, you say that you have an algorithm actually in your head for this.
You try this, and in the meantime, I'll check if the 30, if the 45 is doing the same behavior. 31. 2, 4, 7, 1. Now the 2 is not in. It is just the third time that the 3 occurs. So what is still dropping off?
Multiple of 3.
There are no multiples of 3 in this series. So 45. We call it a function. The function is n. And 7 is 8. And 15 was it? And 15 is 8. X. And 45 is 3 times n. 15. Because nothing else is dropping off in there. Because you have a multiple of one that already had the division by 3.
But n15 isn't 6?
No, 8. These 8 are left over.
Yes.
Dropping off is 6. What do we call that? D. D15 is 6. But why is it 6? I still don't get it. It is n minus 1 div primes. So that's this. Or, because n is divisible, it is n. 1 div 2 times n. 1 div 3 times n. 1 div 4 times n. 1 div 5 times n. 1 div 6 times n. 1 div 7 times n. 1 div 8 times n. 1 div 9 times n. 1 div 10 times n. 1 div 11 times n. 1 div 12 times n. 1 div 13 times n. 1 div 14 times n. 1 div 15 times n. 1 div 16 times n. 1 div 17 times n. 1 div 18 times n. 1 div 19 times n. 1 div 20 times n. 1 div 21 times n. 1 div 22 times n. 1 div 23 times n. 1 div 24 times n. 1 div 25 times n. 1 div 26 times n. 1 div 27 times n. 1 div 28 times n. 1 div 29 times n. 1 div 30 times n. 1 div 31 times n. 1 div 32 times divided by its primes, but then one less because of the 3 and one less because of the 5. So the number of primes minus the number of primes.
Why you are taken, for example, 15 and not taken 5? You can start by 5 and multiply it by 3, then again by 3, then again by 3.
So
Why you are taking 15 and not 5? You can take 5, which has 4 numbers, multiply by 5.
now I was more thinking of, say, the 15 is interesting because if you do it times 2, you get a new prime in the series.
Yeah.
And a new prime,
How you can?
if a new prime is coming in, it is it is difficult now because the new prime is 2. So you go to 30, the new prime that is 2, you'll get twice as many. But you don't get twice as many because half is dropping off because they're divisible by 2. So if you get a new prime in the series, this is 3 times 5, now you get 3 times 5 times 2. It says, and you have 2 types of primes in the series. Say n consists of, how do you say that? Whatever, p1 px primes. And now, if you have n,
What for example, for numbers that are not prime, we just count, we do like prime factors, and we start counting the primes that are superior to prime. We count the count primes that are different than the prime factors. For example, okay, we started by after 3 it's 4, so one of the prime is 2 multiplied by 2, so we also consider 1 as one of the numbers, so we take 1 and 3, and then for 5 it's already prime. For 6 we have 2 and 3 are prime factors of 6, so we take 5 and 1, and for 8 we have 2, so we can take 3 and 5 and 7, which are primes. I mean, so we have like we can write all the, so we do a loop all from 0 up to 1 million.
yeah,
1 million. Yeah. From 1, I mean. Yeah. So if it's, for example, if it's prime, so it's solved. We just take.
prime
If
is
it's not prime, we just, for example, we have any
that's-
number. For example,
so two categories of not prime.
So
that is the
take-
ones with single single occurrence of all primes.
Or we take 2, oh no, 2, 3, and 5 are divisors. So what we count, all the primes that are less than 30 and different than 2, 3, and 5. So for example, 3 here, 30 here, we have this. This shouldn't be counted.
No, you only have
29,
23.
Yeah. All the primes.
Yeah, this is what we said earlier, right?
Yeah.
It's either the numerator is a prime or the denominator is a prime. If the denominator is a prime, we know that the number is d minus 1. If the numerator is, and what?
If you have the list of all
And if you
primes,
have 3 times 5 over 6 times 7, both
Right.
are prime and it's not reduced. Ah, wait,
Both are
11 times 7, of course.
yes.
What? That I'm saying both have to be prime. One of them has to be prime or the other. One or the
No,
other.
they are both not prime.
Right, that's why we never look at it.
77.
Right, it's reducible. Exactly.
It's not reducible.
Sure it is.
No. This one has different prime factors than this one.
Ah. Very
Yes,
good.
so
Very
so
good.
we as I
Okay.
said, so 7 and 11, so 3 and 5 are not like a part of the prime factors of this number,
Of
so we
77.
consider them. That's what they said. We consider the primes that are less than that number and are not prime factors. For example, this number which is 77. Okay, 77 is 11 and 7. So what we count for that number is 2, 3, 5, all the primes except 11 and 7 up to 77. That's what we think.
Yeah,
So we have
it's not-
77
it's
is not prime. We apply
Yeah,
the same rule. We count all primes except the prime factors.
No, because 15 is not prime and still. You count all other primes
Yes,
than 11 and 7.
yes.
Up until
Up until 77.
77.
Count all other primes.
Except, prime factors.
Yeah, but
Exclude them.
let's say 15.
15. So
15, you see 14 and 2 and well, not prime but still counting.
but
I am still getting on this. You have to find the prime factors. And the moment that you have them, you say for the 3 there is 4 dropping off, and for the 5 there is 2 dropping off. That is 30 over 5 minus 1 and 30 over 3 minus 1. Oh wait, that's too difficult.
I'm back on. I think I don't think that this is impossible to deal with in this context. So I'm just going to
This
continue.
is the drop-offs. The drop-offs are 6. The leftovers are 8 in this case. And if you now go to another time, the 3 in it, you get the total times 3. But if you do another prime, like 2 or 7, like 2, it is, why is this exactly the same? That's so stupid. Ah! It's coincidental, because 30 is 2 times 15, but of the 29 originals, times 2 keeps it.
Yeah, I think my definition would only work if not we exclude numbers that are prime factors, but also numbers that, for example, for 14, if we do factorization of 14, it's 2 and 7, so yeah, it's not prime factor.
So it's 2 and 7. That means that for the 14, 6 are dropping off because of the 2, and 1 is dropping off because of the 7. And that's true, so 7 are dropping off. So for 14, I was going to do the 10 series. The 10 series, that is the 5 is dropping off and 4 of the 2's, because 9 if 2 is, so actually that is n over p minus 1, of course, and that for some all p's. Ah, shit. So that is 2, there's 4 dropping off because of the 10, 4 dropping off because of the 2, but this already is 9 minus 4 dropping off because of the 2, and for the 5 there is 1 dropping off. Should be left 4. Is it true? 1 tenth, 2 is not possible, 3 tenth, 4, 5, 6, no, 7, 8, no, and 9. 4 left. That's good. And now you get, if you do again onto the 30, how is this then possible? You get 11, 13, 17, 19, 21, 23, 27, 29. And now, why is what is dropping off from these? Because you did times 3, I think. Yeah, this one is extra dropping off, and this one, this one, and this one. And these are all 3 not, or 4. So why are there 4? 1/3. 1/3. This is 12. These are 12. So 30 is 3 times 10.
Is it optimized if we do like 10 GCD of all number nodes?
If we do n10, n10 is 4,
and n squared multiplied. I think 1 million is a small number.
Fuck it, brute force. That's what you said, isn't it?
Yeah. Let's solve it and see the formula.
My brain hurts.
What's this? Capillary. Huh? It's water? Oh, no. Oh, there is something growing in it. It's algae.
Oh.
Something growing.
You sure somebody isn't trolling? I wouldn't say it's impossible.
Ah, please close the bottle after use.
Well, maybe somebody thought that was. I think algae doesn't care about the lid. Does it?
What?
As long as it's opened every now and then, I think it doesn't care that. I mean, it probably needs oxygen.
It's a great thing, perhaps.
Yeah, it may very well be algae. It may be somebody trolling. I don't know.
It is so simple. It is so simple. I get the formula. I got the formula now.
You have an analytical solution?
Yeah.
For a particular part of this, so looking at 1D.
So it is a number is V1 prime 1 times prime 2.
Any natural number.
And is a product of primes A, B, C until to the power of power is say R for the A. That's the, let's say 32, 3, 5 on power of 1. Yes?
Or let's take
example
so
30 is
let's take
63151.
Yeah, and
now?
2 1 also. 30, it's 30.
2 1 also.
Just for 30.
If the R is bigger than 1.
Yeah, let's take 60 and it's 2.
Yeah, now you have the two cases. R A is bigger than 1. That means the n becomes the prime times the number for the x divided by the prime.
For 30
That
we
is,
have
if you have 45,
it's 3 to the power of 2.
What is
Like
x?
oh, you mean this one is times,
Oh, sorry.
and this is x. The x is the number.
Okay.
So for 45, it is that is an r that exists 2 times. That is 3,
5, isn't it?
45. 3 squared times 5
Ah, yeah, sorry, yeah.
is 3 times, so the n of 3 squared times 5 is 3 times the n of 3 times 5.
Interesting claim.
What is n? It's
The total number of the function. You want to know the number of candidates. Candidates, call it C. Candidates for 45 is 3 times the number of candidates for 50.
what is for the simple case? For example, for 13, what is 3 like by
What?
for this case for n of
Wait.
30?
Wait, this still has higher powers of times in it.
Yeah.
And the other one was the candidates of 3 times 5 are 3 minus 1 times the candidates of 5.
Times multiplied.
No, that's for 15. For 15, 2 times the candidates of 5.
Why not? It's 5 times the quantity of 3.
And 5 is,
5 is just.
and the candidates of 5 is 4.
No.
4. So this is 2 times 4 is 2 times 4 is 8. And now we do another. The candidates of 2 times 15 are 2 minus 1 times the candidates of 15. The candidates of 5 times 15 5 minus 1 times. Oh no, because the 5 is already in the 15. The candidates of, what did we have? 3 times 10. 3 times 10. This was a nice one. Candidates of 30. You can do 2 times 15 or you can do 3 times 10. Is 3 minus 1 times the candidates of 10.
Quantities of 10 are.
Is the candidate is
Quantity of 5 because it's 2 minus 1 multiplied by quantity of 5. So it's 4. Yeah. And this is 2, 4. It's 8, same as 15.
So for individual new primes, you do the prime minus 1 times for the number of candidates. And for totally new primes,
For 30 is not 8. It's isn't more.
30.
For 30 isn't more than 8.
No, exactly. 8.
Exact as 50. Or yeah.
Yeah, that was as coincident. It was 2 times 1. When I did 3 times 10 in this series, I noticed that it is just 3 minus 1 times.
Yeah. So how would we solve that? We do it recursively.
Yeah, you start at No, you can also fill in, of course, all numbers based on primes.
Yeah. Okay. Yes.
You start with the 2's.
You build like the mapping from from primes to this C of fat primes.
and then you, for example, for 5,
Yeah, but you
it's
have,
already minus 1.
you have to decompose all numbers in this way. But there is a simple lookup then. That as long as you have, so 3 times, so now you get to the total formula, that is the 2 for the second and the third and the fourth 3. It is always, so you have P, A and R, A. You do, for each, you do
R
minus 1. RA minus 1 times P A, of course. No, it is P to the power RA minus 1.
No, it's.
Yeah, this one.
Okay. Yeah.
No, wait. Yeah, so if you have 3, if you have 9 in it, you get 2 times 3. Yeah. Times, of course,
The rest. Times PA multiplied.
the rest
Is PA CPA multiplied by the rest. PA, which is 3 PA. Because we removed this minus 1, we put it here.
CPA.
Yeah. Multiplied by the rest. So, like you can do parentheses here and multiply. For example, you multiply PB, RB, and do PB. But what we can do for this one? Also, you should like get it outside and do PB.
Because you already have divided here. So you divide through the same number. So you have n equals anything, then is if there is an r bigger than 1, then you do p a r minus 1 times the n of the number of
It's
x
recursive and then
divided by
multiply.
p a times r minus 1, because you get it 3 times out. Or you get it 9 times out if you have the 3 times in.
If you have.
But now, and this last one,
But
the
if you
first
have
3.
If you have this 3, it would be here 2 and the main 3 there. Is this correct? If it's this 3.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
So this would be PA, just PA. Yx.
Because if you have, you divide it, yeah, here it is PA, but now take the whole number, the original number.
Yeah, it's recursive. So for example, the remaining is NPP. So you apply the same rule to this part now.
Yeah, but if you start now, reduce it from scratch, then is the first 3 occurs in 3 minus 1, and all others occur in factor 3 itself.
Yeah,
But this 3 minus 1, 3 minus 1 times 3 to the power of n a p r minus 1. So this is the number of 3's that you get in the factor. 3 minus 1 times 3 to the 1 less. And this is the same as 3 to the r minus 3 to the r minus 1. So the formula is the n of p of the product PA RA equals is the product of it's exactly the same. Oh no, now you get the n out. So this is the product of, for each prime, the prime to the r minus the prime to the r minus 1. This is it. That's difficult.
This is mine? No, it's yours.
And recursive is easier. If you do a lookup table, if you have them all, you just recurse. You divide by 3, you get mod 0. You do mod, you get 0. Then you do divide by 3. And you do a lookup. Not sure how. And you do, yeah, if you get to 21.
Yes.
You divide by 3,
Yeah.
you get 7.
Yeah.
You have to know whether this was
You already have this 7.
whether
which
there
is
already was a 3 in it. Because if there was already a 3 in it, the 21 is exactly 3 times the n of 7.
yeah.
So it should be 6.
No, 3 minus 1.
Oh yeah, because it's the first factor,
Yeah.
3. Because there is no 3 in the 7 itself. So
Yeah.
it is 3 minus 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if you get to 63, you divide by 3, you get 21. You look up, 7 has 6. 6 times 2, 12. 21 has 12. 63, you look up, 21. But now you have to do times the whole 3, not the 3 minus 1. So this should be 36. It's difficult.
Yeah.
Because now you need to register. And the other way around. If you start multiplying. If you have the 7 and you go all multiples of 7.
Multiplied by 7.
You do all multiples of 7. You fill them in.
Multiple of 7 starting from.
No, but
From
you
which
need to-
number?
Yeah, but you need to. If you have 7, you have 6. You fill in for all multiples of 7. You have 14, you fill in again 6. You have 21, you fill in 12. But then you go on and on. No, by 4 times. So by 28, that's a difficult one. You get 28. You get a second factor of 2 in it. With 14, you find it's also 6. 21, you get it's 12. Then at 28, you get 2 times. You get again 6 because there was already a 2 in and it is. No, there was already a 2, so this is just twice as much, is also 12. This is a nice series, because now you get to 5 times 7, 35. that is 4 minus 1, 5 minus 1, 4, times 6 is 24. Then you get to 6 times 7, 42. This is 3 times the one of 21, 2 times. No, the same as the 21. Because it is 2 times. So it should be 12. And is it true? Is it also for the 3 times the one of the 14? Yeah, because it's for the first 3 in it. So it is 2 times 6.
Check with manual.
You checking with me for what? For this, or for? Do you want me to look at?
No, for this.
So
You want for this?
No, for what you are doing.
Okay.
I'm not sure if for
If you ask me,
Mhm.
any approach that involves throwing stuff out is a dead end.
Yeah, but it's not throwing it out anymore.
Oh, you
I have a recursion.
you have different.
Okay. Recursion, yeah.
Okay.
If you have 3 to the power of 3 times 5,
Yes.
it's the same as 3 to the power of 2 times the number of 9. Of 10 times 5.
Yeah. I agree. Well, I'm not sure, but seems
That is
superficially
one. And the
plausible.
other one is to get the original first prime out, you do the prime minus 1 times the factor of original.
Can you? Is there some higher level way to describe the general approach? What you're doing here?
Yeah. And here, but that's too difficult, you cannot get it.
Yeah.
You still have to go through all numbers, because
All numbers? All numbers.
for all numbers you have to find if there is a if there is one that you already a divisor, of course. If it is not a prime, you need to define its divisors. That's also true. That's anyway the basic. For each number, you need to find the divisors. Do you need to find only one divisor?
I see. No.
Yeah, you only need to find one divisor. But
And
you
if
need
you-
to check if it's the second one that occurs in the same number.
Oh,
Because you need to, for 42, you need to check divisible by 2. Yeah, so you look at 21, but you need to check if the 2 was
Also
already in
divide-
21. Because then it's
all I hear is
then it's-
if and lookup.
yeah.
Those two words are just, what the hell are you talking about?
I got it. You
If
need-
and lookup. No.
Yeah, it is it. That's it. For each non-prime, you have to do a loop. For all primes, of course.
For each prime, I do a loop of primes.
No, for each non-prime. The primes are you need to have the primes.
I have the primes.
For each number, you check if it is a prime. If it is not a prime, you need to find at least a prime factor. So you start again with all primes. You do 2, 3, 4, 5, 7.
But that
3, 3,
doesn't stop at that point.
Yeah, it
because we
stops.
should check
No, it stops.
the factors. For example, a number that has prime factors, we should check also another number that have the same prime factors, because
No, that is, you just have to find that 102 is divisible by 2. You take the 51 and you try if it is again divisible by 2. If it is divisible by
are
2.
we starting from like least number or from higher numbers?
From 1. You go
Okay.
up until the million.
You mean like, for example, if the number is not prime, for example, let's start with 4, we mark all the multiple of 4s, or all double of 4s, or all triple of 4s.
No. Just you will encounter it. The moment that you get to 16, you say divisible by 2.
Yeah.
look back at 8 and try dividing 8 another time by 2. Okay, that goes 2. That means you need to do the C, the candidates of 8 times 2 for 16.
For 16?
Yeah. And is it
Why
true?
not? No, it's 16 is 2 to the power of 4.
Yeah.
So we do like
That means you take the candidates of 8 and do that times 2. For 8 you already found the candidates of 4. Also did them times 2. And for 4 you did the candidates of 2 times 2. That was 2 minus 1. Times 2 is 2, so 4 has 2 candidates. And then 8 has 4 candidates. And then 16 has 8 candidates. There's only the first power you need to take the number of the prime that you have minus 1 times.
Minor issue.
Is it true for the 10 time and the 3? 30. Yeah.
and this can be solved in single line. Like len set 2 loops.
And what do you have? Count non-prime denom. Your and non co-primes, of course.
Co-prime.
Yeah, like
I'm off by 1.
where?
+1.
For 8 is 21.
Yeah. But this is so I'm counting something twice, and I'm not counting 3/8. So those are the 2 issues. So I'm counting 1/6, probably. Well, I can look at the factors, I guess. So I'm counting 1/6 using the factor
1/6.
and P1. So I'm doing 1/6, 2, 2, 3, and 3, 2.
Oh, 2 times, yeah.
Yeah. So I think this is probably if I guess I can do this should not be that difficult actually. If P1 well, P1 has to be less than D factor.
Of course, yeah.
What is the D factor?
So this is always broken down. So so there are two cases. There's the case where D is a prime, and there's the case where D is a composite. And the place we look at is, so the second case is this, count non-prime denom fractions, and there we pass in as a parameter the factor up until this point. So if we're starting at 2, then we pass in 2, so that's one factor, and we have to find another prime factor which creates the denominator we actually look at here. So we look at 2 times 2, we look at 2 times 3, and so forth. And for each of those denominators, we count the numerators and recurse down using 2 times 2, 2 times 3, respectively, as the new D factor. And I think as long as I always choose my prime factors greater than or equal to the prime I started with, I will only generate things once.
Yeah.
I will only generate the denominators once. Okay, so this is what I'm doing. Okay, so P1 has to be greater than, let's do this actually. If P1 less than, well, I have to do the beginning thing, which is, well, it's, oh god, I have to do start P, I guess. I mean, it happens to be, okay, start initial P or top P. So this is the topmost P at the stack. Which happens to be D. Right, because we always iterate over primes in the top level. And max n also happens to be the same thing, but I guess we'll just, for clarity's sake, pass both of them in. So if it's less than, continue. So if P1 is less than our top prime, then we continue. We can multiply multiple times. If then we multiply D and it's greater than our max D, which in our case is 8, then we stop. Otherwise, actually I'm not sure about this one now. $19, so I'm still missing the 3/8. But I'm only getting the 1/6 once. So why am I missing the 3/8?
What is the initialization of max n?
Here. put in some debug stuff. So for let's see, for d factor of 2, right here. So here we're at we're actually looking for 4 as the d factor. Here we have d factor 4 and d factor 4, so we start at p equals 2, p1 equals 2, which is fine. So it gets past here, then we're at here 2 times 2, 4 times 2 is 8. 8 is not greater than, is 8 is not greater than 8. And then we get into this. So here we always count this case once in any case, and then we go through the primes. So here, is break. It shouldn't be a break probably. Well, max n is 2. Why is max n 2? This is wrong. This is wrong.
Or equal.
No, it's both. It should be. We have to look at the 3 for this case. I think I have to multiply max n times something. Right? Because max n for 8 should be 4.
Mm-hmm.
So
Why?
because top p is 2, I think that's it actually. Well, because I'm looking at all of the multiples of 2,
yeah.
so it has to be 1 over 2. I guess maybe max n is always
Over d. Yeah, divided by d.
divided by d. Well, if I want to get, let's just stupidly try to get the 4. I think that would be, I don't know. It may very well be d. So in the case of 2, I want to have, so if we're looking at denominator 8, then it should be 4. If we're looking at denominator 6, it should be 3.
So it's the number divided by 2. Always.
Always half.
No, I don't think so.
No, because if you have a factor 2, you need to go to 2. If you have a factor 3, if you have found a factor 3, you need to divide by 3.
I'm going to do d over top p. And that should always be an integer because top p is a factor of d.
For all primes, max d.
Max d.
And you go until max d. You can go until the square root of a million, because higher primes only count sure and total. Yeah, of course, it doesn't matter. That is d minus 1. Okay, count pluses. So if the primes, higher primes just count one time and then break.
Oh, I didn't actually remove the break, I think. Could that be?
Count pluses d minus 1. If d is a prime,
no, actually, max n should be. So,
non-prime denom fractions.
Let's see. Okay, so here we're looking at a 2. Okay, so I guess I can do int there. Though it shouldn't matter. I'm going here. This should max n should be 4. This should be 4. Okay, so then this is bullshit. Okay, so what are we looking at? D is 4. No, maybe it is just D. I'm just guessing.
Where did you print? P.
Why is he not going over? I'm still missing 1 over 3 over 8. Here.
Yeah, but where should it come from?
It should come from
3.
P2 should, he's skipping P2 equals 3.
Yeah.
I think here, because max n is, when we come in, when D factor is 4, it is 4.
Yeah, but
max n is 4.
When we do the call recursive, it will call it with
3
d
is in the
equal
bottom.
to 2 or to 4.
To 4. Which is fine.
Yeah. And then P2 is not superior.
So P2, this is wrong. This is wrong. Well, maybe this, if P2 greater than or equal to, I guess. Although that should never be the case, because D is always a composite. Okay. Okay, but P2 is less than max D, and max D is 8. So, but that's fine. P2 is 3. Okay, then I don't know what's happening.
No, you're now skipping it. 3, 8 is continue.
Right. Okay, so this is bullshit. Maybe this is complete bullshit. I'm not sure what I was thinking. Let's keep it around. Maybe
no, it is.
I guess the equals case. But that can't be. No, that can't be. So if P2, maybe it's this.
What is the max n then?
I think in this case 2 and 4.
What was the max n is D factor or top P? Oh, max n is D.
Okay, so this looks less bad, I think.
So
now we're counting the 2 over 8 and the, what else are we counting?
And you're
twice?
forgetting the 5 over 8 and 7.
Right.
I would like to try this because now you're counting non-prime denom fractions, denominators.
Yeah. Well, I'm counting the nominators which are prime for all of the unique factorizations of numbers in the denominator. So I'm only counting every number in the denominator once. Well, that's the idea at least. Or I'm only dealing with the composite numbers one each time, assuming there's a unique, and there is a unique prime factorization for each of those. But I guess I may not be handling, I mean, assuming this works, I may not be handling the prime composite numerators.
Yeah, that is what I thought with the 77, you mean?
Yeah.
The 3 times 5 and the 7 and the 11 times 7.
Yeah.
I would say, can we give it a try with the series? Just
Well,
divide the.
you're going to have to walk me through it. So,
Walk you through it. It is
either that or
like,
you're going to have to write it yourself.
No, it is. You take every number, until million, max d. Yeah. Say 8. Yeah.
This is the denominator.
Yeah, that's the denominator. Starting at 1 is skipped, so it's only
Oh yeah.
2.
Yeah, sorry.
One you start at 2.
Oh. Okay.
You need to have an array of all your results for each d.
Which is d minus 1, so we don't need to. What? You mean d minus 1?
No, the max d is the. So for each denominator you need to know the number of candidates.
Ah, okay. So
Candidates.
this. Candidates.
Candidate is. No, you need not. You don't need all candidates. You don't need the list of candidates. You only need the number of candidates.
Okay.
So it is for each. It is the candidates for D. So it's a range. No, yeah, so it is an array of for each D. It's an array from 0 to max D.
Okay. So list range.
No. Start a global variable. Just you have for D in range 2 to max D plus 1, and for each D, you are now going to fill in the number in the array, and then in the end count them all. But you have
Okay.
to,
So
candidates for D is like that. Yeah.
okay.
And now
I guess
D,
okay.
yeah, now you do an if between before the print. Oh no, you can just do after the print. You do.
What's the general idea here?
For each prime, for all primes, you start dividing by the prime. First test is of course if D is a prime itself. No, not there. Not there. No, in the set primes. That's anyway necessary. If D in the set of primes, then the candidates for D is D minus 1.
Is it like this? Or you just want to append, I guess?
Yeah, no, not append. Not append. Just fill it directly. Or, yeah, what is, I don't know, append, of course.
It depends if you're going to be visiting the same thing twice.
No, you're just looking up. You're just using them as lookup.
Okay. Okay.
Else, you start finding a prime factor. So you start with.
Okay. So if D mod P equals 0.
Yeah. If then divide another time. There's two options. Yeah. Divide by P. If that is anyway. Yeah. That is 1. And now you get 2 cases. F divided by P is mod. No, divided by, is that mod, the percent?
Yeah.
Ah. If the F mod P is again 0, that's a different case than if the F mod P is not 0.
And it's okay that we're always looking at the same P?
Yeah, this is the same in this P in primes. Once you find it,
so you, should I do while, or what's the idea here?
If the D mod P is not 0, that is the end of this end of this if needs to take the next prime, but there is a break in the end. So now you do if F mod P is 0. If
I'm very skeptical
F
about this.
mod P is 0, then the candidates for D is the candidates for F times P minus 1. Equals, yeah. Candidates, do that candidates for D.
Just candidates.
Yeah. Because you can use candidates F times.
I think we didn't reach candidate of F to do that.
D is the candidate of F times,
F
and not minus 1.
Oops.
Not minus 1, but times P minus 1.
Is it F bigger than D?
Quotes. Yeah.
What?
Is F bigger than D here?
No, F is D over P.
Ah, yeah.
It's 2 lines up.
Mm-hmm.
If D mod P is 0, then F is D over P. If F mod P is 0, then the candidate is times Fp minus 1. Otherwise, else. And then the same line with candidates, but not minus 1. And in both cases, you have found a D mod P is 0, so now you can break. Break the previous for loop. It is, yeah, of course. And if not, then you do next P.
Well, that's what it does.
Yeah, anyway. It is what it does. Okay. That's it. If you do not find a prime in the end, for P is not in, then it was a prime. Yeah, that was already.
Well, but that's the top case.
Yeah.
Okay, well.
And the prime set, you need only the primes until for the divisions you only need the primes until 1000. For the original prime set you need all primes until 1,000,000.
But
It can stop if P is. It will stop. It does not matter. It will stop anyway. Just leave it. It will stop.
Well, but okay. Well, we're off by.
we can print candidates to see.
Oh yeah.
Okay. How about here?
Or at the end.
No, I would say in the end, after the for P and primes.
Yeah, maybe we can see how it's filled out.
No, set it on the right, on the same level as for P and primes.
For P, so here.
One line up. One line up and one tap to the left.
Where? So
where
here.
it was? No, where it was? Where was it? There. And now one. It's just a print candidates. One line up and one to the left. Yeah, like that.
The same difference. Okay, whatever.
No, it's not correct.
What is candidates?
For 6 is not, for 8 is not.
Oh, it is a whole array candidates. No, I want to have the numbers. The number candidates D only. Can you do that? Candidates, print candidates D.
Okay. I guess D. So 416481.
Can you do the if P and D in prime set also print candidates? So that's indeed one level back. Let's leave it now.
Yeah.
It's one level. Yeah. 2, 1, 3 is 2, 4. That's wrong. Why is it wrong?
So wait, no,
one.
4
This
is
one is,
4 is okay.
No, these two ifs are the wrong way around. If it is a second time divisible, but then you need to do the whole P, and otherwise the P minus 1. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, it is the result of that whole whiteboard.
Okay.
Now it fell in 8,000.
Let's
How
try
big is
50.
this set of primes? What is the set of primes?
10 to the 6. Everything less than 1,000,000.
Okay.
Okay, well, I guess I should stop spamming the console.
Yeah. That's quick. That's quick. That's quick.
Well, no.
It is getting slower.
Yes.
So what are we at? 800,000. Okay, I think it will finish. Just barely. So we're claiming that this is the answer.
Yeah.
Okay, well, if this is true, I want to investigate more.
Just try.
Can we also run the, the brute force? Just for fun. I think it would take the same time.
What the hell is going on here?
It's your cursor.
I think my computer is trying to kill itself or something.
It's a comment.
Maybe it's the...
But it is not seeing it.
Okay, well... Yeah, okay. I'm pretty amazed actually, to be honest.
I also. I'm also amazed.
What the hell is going on here?
Yeah, it is over there. It is. If
Let me just try and think of. Okay, so
you factorize, but you just find one factor, and if you have a factor, you know how it relates to the number of candidates that was in that factor, in that denominator.
okay. Right. Okay, so for the case of 30, we're looking at the candidates for 15, and for 15 we're looking at the candidates for, I guess, 5?
3. Candidates for 5, yeah. So that was what I wrote down. That was 15 here.
Yeah. This is 5.
Yeah, he's trying to explain.
3 times 5 is actually, you found the factor 3. So you did 3 minus 1 times the number of 5. And that is because the 15 is the factors for 5 times 3, because they fit 3 times in the 15, but one of these 3 on average is falling out because
On average? Where did
no,
on
not
average?
on average, because they're prime, because they're co-prime. The 5 and the 3 are prime.
Okay, I'm just confused when you say on average. Why does averages here? Okay,
Because there is exactly 5 multiples of 3 in this 3 blocks of the original 4.
Right. This is why it's times P. Candidates times P.
So this is times P minus 1. Because there is exactly a number of 5 fits 3 times in the 15. But yeah, we only did it with 3 times with 3 times in the 30. The 10. 12, 3, 7, 9 fits 3 times in the 30. But now exactly 4 are falling out. 4 of these, because it is 4 numbers, it fits 3 times in the 30, but because they're prime relative against each other, there are 4 multiples of 3. This one, this one, this one, and this one. Not coincidentally, no, it's exact 4 multiples of 3. So these are falling out. So you do times 3 minus 1. Because if you have it times 5, but that is only the first time that a factor 3 occurs. Because 10 was not divisible by 3.
I think I may be in a better position to understand this if I just look at the output of this for a smaller number. Let's say like 100.
Yeah, but print your list of candidates then.
Did I not? I thought that's what I did.
No, you only did the number of candidates.
Right, yes, very good. Sure, why not?
No, that's not the candidates. That's only the array of candidates. You need to print it here. You need to tell it whether you did 2 times.
Yeah, let's do it.
Just print this line.
Let's do print D, comma F, comma candidates D, candidates F. And
print it after before the break, but then you have the.
Yeah.
Oh, like that is also. Of course.
Well, candidates D is not populated yet, so I'll move it past. right?
I guess. Yeah. And the other.
So I guess this is unfortunate.
Yeah, D is clear, but and then there is the F and the P. Do that. Better do that the other way around. P and F.
Yeah, sure.
Or write P and then X F, because D is P X F.
Whatever.
B, what is that?
So P is 2, F is 2, CD is 2, D is 4, etc. Does that make sense a bit?
Yeah, So you get at 10, you find a prime factor 2, and you take the number of 5. 5 had 4. Ah.
Can we let's look for our 30, I guess.
30.
So D, okay, so P equals 2 times F equals 15. Why are we at F equals 15? Because we were looking at P equals 2. D equals 30. We are at 30 because we're just iterating through all the things. Okay, fine. And we see, okay, so the first, we're breaking it down. Okay, we're breaking it down. Prime factorization, basically, right. Okay.
Yeah, but you mostly find the 2, 3, 5, of course. So it is not really slow.
Yeah.
It's only getting slow at say at 800,000, and you find prime factors of over 600.
Okay, but point being, CF is 8, so F of 15. When D is 15, we have
CD is 8. Yeah.
CD is 8.
Because you took the one from 5 and you did that times 2.
I'm still, I don't have quite the intuition for this. So
yeah, CD is 3 minus 1 multiplied by 5 minus 1.
okay, so if I have above me factors, so if I have above me something that is divisible, okay, my denominator is divisible by 2, I look at that, then for each of those I know that those can't be unique.
Say
so I look at all the others. What is that? That's P minus 1, right? So or that's D minus 1, isn't it? So
now if you have say you have 62,
right?
62.
Yeah.
But you already had the number of 31.
Yes. And I know how many.
And you check.
I know how many of those were non-reducible, but I know also so I know, okay, for each of those there's a pair there, and one of them is the multiple, and the other, I mean, assuming factor of 2, assuming P equals 2, then I have in one case the multiple, and then 2 other cases which are not multiples of P. Okay, I have one more. In the case of factor of 2, I have one that is a multiple of the factor and the other which isn't. And if p equals 3, then I have 2 more, and if p equals 5, I have 4 more. So p minus 1.
Yeah.
And where does this p come? What is this p about? If
The
p is
the prime that you are checking. Just find one. Just search for a divisor.
so this is the 73 times. This is the 3 times 5 case.
Why?
Because f and p are coprime.
Yeah.
Or no, f and d are well,
Yeah, of course. Co-prime and p.
or something related.
Because f and p are co-prime. If the p is not yet in f, f is the candidate.
No, f and d are coprime.
No,
No?
the f and d don't no, f is d over p.
No.
Yeah, that's
F is
not divisible.
so you have say at 93
No.
you find 2 did not go 3. Okay, I find 3. P is 3. F is 31. So now we have the F is the previous one.
No.
Actually, you need to call the factor the F and the previous one the P. But that is don't do that. So
Let me just maybe it's
previous
easy.
one is
Maybe it's
31.
easier if I just print out the cases where this is actually done. Maybe I don't care about this. So actually, your case should be here, shouldn't it? No, 91. Apparently not. 93.
No, the 93 is the case that it was the first time that the 3 occurred. That's the other one. So you need to do the other. But the second time that the 2 occurs, for example here, 48, you find a 2 and you say, we take the one from 24 and you say the next one is exactly twice as big because you don't introduce an extra factor. So it is exactly the ones of 24 and another time the ones of 24 because you don't introduce the extra factor 2. For the 45, you see it. 45, you find factor 3, you find prime 3, and you have a number 15.
Yeah.
For the 15, we had already 8 numbers.
Sure.
And the 45 is 3 times this full 8. Because the 3 was already divided out of the 15. And it's not introducing any reducing factor extra, so you have the full 3 times all the candidates of 15. So this is the case of you have the full candidates again. These are all the prime times the previous one.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, that was the easy case. The difficult case was the one that the prime was the first time that the prime occurs in the number.
Yeah, it's just the number minus 1.
Yeah, that took me longer to find the idea of it.
The first time it's in it,
So that is the, say 55 has 5 times 11.
Yeah.
11 had 10 candidates because it's prime. And now, and so 55 has 4 times as many. It does not have 5 times as many because all existing multiples of 5 are falling out.
Ah, it's prime. Okay, yeah.
So
yeah, all the existing multiples of the
so
prime.
one in each 5 are falling
Yeah.
out. So that is 1/5 are falling out. That means you multiply by 4.
Yeah, I think I have understood each part of this problem or the solution individually at some point in time.
Can we check a few other solutions whether people have
Sure.
reduced this formula to even a
Gibberish.
J
Yeah,
online.
let's see what. Ah, here it is. I was always looking for the link to this thread here. Apparently, it's hidden in the text.
The sum of the Euler tosians, yeah.
Of course. It's basically the sum of the Euler tosians from phi to phi over phi of a million.
Consider a square. The totient was the coprimes numbers or the non coprimes.
Yeah, I think
We have
instead of
phi.
doing that, but this is more optimized. We can just check for GCD from that number and check for GCD. If the GCD equal 1, we count +1 because
But GCD was slow.
yeah. I think this is more optimized.
Was
Yeah,
this?
you only need one. You need one divider because once you have one, you can pick.
Yeah,
The
that's
previous
what
number.
happened with the dictionary. Yeah.
Was
It's
this?
mapping the old ones.
Did we ever have a fast version of the phi? No, we didn't. I don't think. No, we gave up on this, right?
For the totient,
No, we gave up on
we
this.
needed all.
I think.
Yeah, we gave up. We needed all candidates, or we needed all. I don't know anymore why, but
Okay. Let's see.
consider a square with the sides of the size of the denominator. All possible fractions n will be equal to 1, and square minus n will be of the improper type. Is also
using P or phi
Well, phi word. I don't think phi.
at top right.
Ah. Oh,
once
well,
divide
no.
evenly the column number factors. Yeah, but why? How did he find these?
Maybe I should read.
Each remaining empty place in the table represents a reduced proper fraction. Now observe that each row has finite number of empty places. Yeah, that's the coprimes. So all coprimes, indeed, you need for all numbers you need to find all coprimes. Yeah, it's fairly logical. But you don't have the totient function. Why did he? And how did he do the phi?
I'm not sure he did. I think this is just something that he observed.
But that was already clear that you need coprimes. But there was no way to calculate that number.
Well,
because we did that last week already. That was unbelievable. N squared minus n over 2.
deselect the ones that divide evenly the column number factors. So divide evenly. So deselect. So he goes over 2 and deselects multiples of 2. He goes over 3, he deselects multiples of 3, and so forth.
That reminds me of C black.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But here he also deselects this. For what reason?
Yeah, that was not allowed. and if you find another solution that explains it better, because this is unbelievable. Hey, there was, how long did you use a similar algorithm?
Sorry.
Phi. And the best I could get was 2 minutes. 5 seconds. Prime search depth 200. Phi int p. And how does he calculate the phi? Double.
So
N.
So for
this to answer the old.
If n over primes, what is that? N over.
he iterates over all primes and finds
If diff percent primes.
so if well where's n? All right, so here first of all, if n is divisible by this thing, then oh god, one minus 1 over p is this 1 minus 1 over p. And
What is diff?
no,
I don't see a diff with a diff. What is that?
I would call this a compile error.
No, what is diff?
I don't know. It must be a variable.
Yeah, but there is no variable.
I know. Global?
Could be.
I say this is broken.
Yeah. Next one.
Let's see. Let's go for at
Is
least.
something related to log? Can you just go a little bit out? Yeah. More? Yeah. More. More, I think. Yeah, this one. I think that approximation and
Well, but that's just. Who cares?
someone.
I'm just looking at the thumbs up for now. Okay, so no, I'm surprised no one has used this method. It doesn't use phi or totient or anything. It's just a simple recursive function. Don't ask me how it works. Oh, how does it work?
It doesn't use phi or totient.
Where f returns the number of reduced proper fractions from 0 to 1 with a maximum denominator of n. And n over k means the integer part of n. No brackets. The integer part of n over k. The integer part of n over k. What the hell is he talking about?
The integer part.
You mean is it doesn't, if it doesn't divide evenly, or what does he mean?
No, if like n, I think he'll always n bigger than k, and like the integer part. So for example, 10 over 3, it will be
3 as opposed to 1,
yeah,
or
and the
3
rest
point.
is 1.
Okay. Okay. Well. Okay. Fn recursively defined. Fn is
n times n plus 3 over 2.
Okay, well, he has to be going down, doesn't he?
Ah,
He
he finds a factor k. See? It's the same thing. He finds a factor k.
Yeah.
So he relates the fn to the fn over k. That is what we did here too.
This sounds like almost.
And if he has a factor k, he says take for all 2 to n
Bada bim, bada.
No, not quite. So return n times n plus 3 over 2 minus some f of n floor division k for k in range 2 to n
Plus 1.
Wasn't that
21?
Yeah, I think so. I'm missing something.
Probably
So
the range.
what did
the
we
range
picked
maybe.
here? 100. 100 was that, so die Leute nerven. Off by 1. So am I missing something? I don't know. So some fn. Well, okay.
It's almost the same. Almost right. Maybe
Could it be that
that
the first division
is
by
also a floor or a div.
flow, like two slashes when we do divide by 2, but it's already 0.0, so yeah.
No, it's too many.
Well, it was before. It was
Yes.
too many before also.
No. Oh yeah. Of course, then n and n plus 3 are odd and even, so it's always.
Yeah.
But it doesn't
I don't get it. N plus 3. That should be. That is.
N plus 3.
That's.
magic,
Yeah.
mysterious.
And you know what? This is a joke. If he says, "I don't know how it works, but it works," then how did he find it then?
Well,
Is this one off by 1?
No, by 2.
By 2?
That's
Always by
strange.
2?
well, I'm not sure about always. So
No, that takes too long with the other one.
what did I do? Did I break something? Float. Oh, I see.
Huh?
The scientific notation is interpreted as a float. So where am I? I'm here. It's still running. Okay, it's still running, but it should get finished.
Why is it now still running?
Well, because I ran it again.
Yeah, but why?
I'm just trying to see if
Say
this
1,000.
Only always off by 2.
well or some yeah. Well, I think for right off by 2, yes.
No,
That would be interesting to
just
know.
take the 1,000 and the 1,020. That one is also not doing much.
Well, it's waiting for the top one. Did it take this long in the first time?
No. Ah, there it is. Hey, that's much more.
I think this
No, this is the same, I think. Pretty sure.
I think this one would take longer because
Yeah, I think this is the same. 2391. Oh, it's different.
No, it's
Yeah,
totally
it's
different
different.
number.
Okay. What did I change? I guess I can do. Did I swap these around? I think I wanted to swap. If it's divisible by p. Yeah, this is the wrong way around, right?
No, it's all right. If it is not divisible by p yet, then it is the p minus 1, and otherwise it's the p.
Okay. Okay, then what did I change?
Prime set different.
Is this maybe?
Then e6 must be wrong.
what is that A6? Is it 1 million?
1a6. Oh god, I'm doing 10 million. No wonder it took longer. Yeah.
Oh, 1 e6, 10 e6 was 10 million. Yeah, that took a lot longer.
Oh, it finished in my hand. Let's interrupto. Wonder if that even finishes.
Yeah, you could do 1 e6. Why is that?
Well, I'm not sure why this.
It's not optimized, I think, because
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, but what is the underscore?
Oh, this is just a separator. It's just for you can write numbers with underscores if you like to count more easily.
And which one is now
The
running?
zeros.
The original?
The bottom one.
The bottom one.
Now, but now with 1 million. Oh, that's it.
Ah, it is recursing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's
But-
we did not recurse. We did an array and looked up the previous one. And here you're not. You should also
we
do
are not
lookup.
even sure if it's correct.
Yeah.
No, but if you don't look up, it is of course taking way too long.
Yeah. I think it's something
Yeah,
like
that's-
n log n.
It's too much. This.
Yeah, because in every loop it goes from n up to the current value.
Oh well. But it looks nice. And I'm sure we're only overlooking one thing.
Oh, that was Dex, and then the next one asks Dex, would you happen to have any reference material? Yeah, I just saw the integer sequences.
N plus 3 divided by 2. It's not even like...
Oh, there is a J guy again.
I forget it.
He's calculating the totient.
I'm sure immediately.
Because he isn't tot. It's total, not totient.
If I ever write J code, I will just write tot everywhere and people will think I'm dealing with totals. What else do we have? So we have sum of totals in less than 1 second. So I guess the totient function isn't so expensive if you just calculate all the totients ahead of time. Maybe.
Yeah.
And this initialize all elements below the limit with the number itself. Yeah, this is the exact same thing, isn't it? Are we implicitly calculating the totient? Is this candidate somehow totient the totents?
Yeah, that was the original guy that said the candidates is the totient. Because it's exactly the number of non-divisible, of co-primes, of non-co-primes, or what was it? Co-primes is this. With no common divisors. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, that's why I said in GCD is equal to 1. Just calculate where the...
Yeah, of course.
Well, that's just restating the problem.
So the candidates array is also an array of totents.
Totes the totents. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, fill it in, totents, and save it as. But in that case, I would say if you save it as, then do f in prime set and swap the f and the p.
If totents are the co-primes less than that numbers. What does totents?
Well, this is are these the phi values? Is that
the phi?
So, but this is then phi's for what is a totient then?
The number of co-primes.
But that's phi.
Yeah.
And that's okay. The same thing.
Yeah. Look up the previous totient. Yeah. I thought that yes. The positive, yeah, that are relatively prime. Yeah.
Okay, it is the same. Fair enough. Potato, potato. Okay, so what do we say?
So now we have a really efficient totient function. Now we can solve the last week's problem.
Yeah, we can.
I would say if you do this, rename that f variable to something like reference or so. Ref. Yeah, and you need to have that in a few times more. Up.
Why reference? What is ref?
Because you find a prime and you just have a reference.
Yeah. Find a prime. You mean because we are doing a lookup in the totient dict? That's what you mean by reference? Like because we already calculate that.
Yeah.
Totient. Yeah.
Well, apart from that, this. Oh no, sorry, forget it.
Yeah.
So we have else is not. So we have a really efficient totient function.
I am open to revisiting this, but I don't think today.
But you could even, if you go back, this one. You could even do that p minus 1.
Yeah.
And a p in some one-liner with the ref.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean
mod p.
Coordinates max in SQL, you know.
Well, then you're calculating twice. So what is this? This is minus. Can't we just do this and then minus p equals p? If then totient minus equals.
Yeah, that's one. But that's not that's not making it more beautiful.
Well, what are we thinking?
You want like
just
to that condition,
an
make
inline
it
F.
replace in that one.
An inline F or so.
Okay, so we want. Okay, I think I'm. So first of all, we want the totient ref. So tref.
Yeah, but it doesn't make it more beautiful. No, I would say just do tref times p minus, and then if the false or true is also a 1 or a 0 or not.
Yeah. You mean like you want to replace that one by that condition? If
Yes.
it's true, just put that one.
So
That.
ref is ref prime.
Can we
No, not prime.
from bool through
Not
return
prime.
it to one?
Well,
It's
This
the way
expression.
around. Yeah.
It is that yeah, but it not equal 0 is a 1 or not, or is it a
We can do it like mod 1. Again mod 1. And then it will be not sure about that. Meaning different to 0. So if it's different to 0, so if we do mod 1, it will be equal to 1. So we can replace ref
No.
mod p mod 1.
everything
and-
mod 1 is 0.
No. Yeah.
Is this a
I think this is correct. If you want to, well, apart from this syntax.
p minus 1 if q q q else p? Is that a really correct syntax?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's yeah, we can even instead of q q q we put the condition.
Put it directly in, but so anyone thinks that this is
Start to look like G.
Not sure it's better now. Can we give this?
no, replace
Can we give
totient
this?
by t and you
Yeah,
have j.
replace ref by no.
Is this a? Does this thing have a reasonable name?
Yeah, that's the factor. Yeah, the multiplication factor, the
M.
mul.
Whatever.
Yeah. But I would swap the conditions. Just p if ref equals 0, else p minus 1.
We can even
Very good. This is always think positive.
or we can like do it the way around and we don't do different to 0, but we just remove the different. If ref mod p, that's it. And
So
but
it's
we
not the
keep
mul-
it the way
Yeah.
the other way around.
If ref
Mod p, that's it. But should do p minus 1 minus 1. P minus 1.
yeah, but then don't do the p
Yeah.
minus 1.
Yeah, then we do p minus 1 at the start.
Yeah, but just do minus 1, else 0, and then plus, and not to call it totient null, but say dropouts.
Minus
also.
1, yeah. Why?
What is that? No. B minus.
What if the left is 0?
So if it's
ref diff p. No, that can be, if you then do diff 2, then it still is not right.
My idea is just to do p minus 1.
are we trying to obfuscate this? Just to be clear.
Yeah, that is
That's the idea here, isn't
It is
it?
obfuscating. Just do.
Yeah, that's p minus 1.
Just do
if
the-
ref
Yeah,
mod p,
just
we
do
remove
this
this.
one. Totient D is totient ref times P. That's anyway. Totient D is totient ref times P. And then, if ref times P is 0, then totient D minus is totient ref.
That's what I had earlier, and you said
that
this
is-
was ugly.
That was the clearest one. That was the clearest one.
Maybe.
But the thing does not work with if and its action in the same line, or does it?
No. It has to be an expression. Well, I don't need this actually. So
Totient D minus is. And now I don't know whether it was at the mod 0 or not mod 0. At the mod 0 it is. So it is here equals 0.
I don't think so.
It's the first time that the factor p occurs. That means that ref diff mod p is.
This is the p minus 1 case.
Yeah, that is alright.
We can remove different to 0 just if ref mod p, that's it. Because if
And now run it and see if it is still faster.
Probably doesn't make a difference.
What?
no,
That was quick.
It's okay.
it's just subtraction doesn't.
Yeah, but it is one comparison less. It still does 2 times all divisions.
It does every division twice. What? Where? What? Who? Because of this and this.
Yeah.
Well, we could do ref.
There is div mod function in Python.
We can do this, and
then the multiplication. If ref times p is d.
yeah.
But that is not quicker because division and multiplication is exactly the same in the computer.
No, that's not true.
Yeah, because the
Indeed.
processor has a circuit that converts that calculates the inverse of a,
We're in Python, then none of this matters.
of a real.
I think after all the multiplication is done via.
Well, this is integer math. You're talking about, you said real, so you mean a float.
Processor has anyway only one flop for a multiplication or division.
Is that true?
Yeah. It is optimized. There is some microcode. It is 4 clock cycles or so, or 6, but it is always one activity.
No, but even so, well, I'm not sure.
Even the Pentiums since the x64 processors, they can do over 256 times numbers times another list of numbers, and that in an unbelievable quick number of cycles.
Yeah, I remember doing this in peaks, like circuits. What I know is like converted to addition, and how exactly like transistors. That is.
And then it is, of course, then it is the number of bits that you need.
Yeah.
But and then in those days the division was slower than the multiplication.
So ops latency throughput. Ops latency throughput.
Where is mul?
Here ops.
Mul and imul. Three cycles.
Well, but throughput is 3 and div 40.
Oh, that's slow. That cannot be. Cannot be. So the div is.
Oh wait, is imul and idiv, are these integer versus what is the alternative?
I think so. Mul.
Well, wait,
so you see, but mul and imul are the same nowadays. They don't.
What is imul?
Integer multiplication then. I think.
But what is mul then?
Mul is float.
Are you sure? I would have expected
the processor can work as quick with float as with integers.
Oh, I would not sign that.
Now, of course, if you have a float in
same register,
say in double precision, then it needs to do internally the language does do the
mapping between
the most
high
byte and the low byte or so.
Well, I will not claim I know anything but I think my understanding is that the whole pipelining thing causes things to overlap in terms of the whatever does the actual calculation. So it pipelines, and I think it can pipeline. So while it's true for a single integer division, the latency may be exactly the same. It can overlap multiple divisions behind each other, such that, right, it's like a pipeline, right? So
yeah,
and I think the throughput is higher for integer divisions than for float.
Good.
And likewise higher for integer multiplication.
The third one, clock cycles for integer multiplication and addition.
For the dudes, like all this stuff.
Latency is 1 cycle for addition, 3 cycles for multiplication.
You can find the latencies and throughput in Appendix C
of the Intel 64.
Well, I need to know the actual instructions. Well, maybe it's...
Yeah, but it is... there are multiple... the imul also exists in an array multiplication that you have... and that you have one register times a list of 256 numbers or maybe 64k numbers. You set up a register and a memory space, and you say this number times all these 10,000. Then plop, it also flops it over, and then it's only much less.
Are you talking about
the bit blip, and so that the graphic processors also can do?
Oh yeah, they do.
That is whole arrays times whole arrays, and you
yeah. SIMD COM.
How that was loaded to register like 64k?
I think on Intel on x64 the largest thing you can treat as a register is 128.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, or Probably depends on SSE, but what SSE version. But I think you can do 4 integer multiplications, for example, at once. So you treat this 128 as 32 times 4.
Yeah, 4.
And then you say multiply these 4 and you get 4 results at once.
You get one register of 130 of 4 times 32 and another register of 4 times 32 and you get 16.
And I think that's the limit for I think in Intel x64 stuff. But of course on the GPU it's thousands. And you can do
there it is. Integer division is 3 times slower than sum or product.
No.
I did not know. I thought division was just as quick.
No. I'm not sure about floating point.
There is any reason why should division?
Yeah, because division needs to shift or something, and
also multiplication.
Floating point arithmetic speed. Yeah, but
what arithmetic? Division is always okay, so even in floating point it's slower.
Single, double, extended double, or quadruple precision. Yeah, but it doesn't say what. Yeah, division is 3 times slower than sum or product. That's again strange because in another thing they said sum is 1 cycle and product is 3 cycles. So product is already 3 times slower than sum. And anyway, but product is not difficult for the processor because move is also doing a cycle, and an if is also getting fetching space memory things out of memory, and so.
Well, I've had enough for today. I think.
Yeah, it is 11 o'clock.
Yeah.